Hey everybody, it's Jaya, and our question today is it normal to get really wet during sex? Well, one thing I want to talk about wetness in the female body, for people who are female bodied, have female genitals, if you're not getting wet or getting wet, this is not necessarily a sign of arousal. I think that there's a lot of bad information out there about, oh, well, I'm not getting wet, or she's not getting wet, so that must mean that she's not aroused, or, oh, she's really wet, that means we're ready for penetration. And that's not the case. There are many women who are highly aroused and their bodies do not lubricate. There could be many reasons. Maybe they're dehydrated, maybe their hormones are not at the right place. Like after I had my son, I had a lot of prolactin in my body after having a baby, and so my body didn't lubricate the way that it used to, and it still doesn't lubricate the way that it did before I had my son. And I can be highly aroused and not lubricate at all. Even though I'm crazy aroused, even though my partner's doing everything right, I may not lubricate. And so then I use lube. And that's okay. So if you get super wet during sex, that's okay too. That's great. That's amazing. So there's nothing wrong with you if you're getting super wet, and there may be nothing wrong with you if you're not arousing at all. There's some actual vaginal types that don't necessarily get wet, even though they're super, super aroused. And there's some vaginal types that get very, 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 very wet. And you may be ejaculating. So if you're getting really, really wet, you may be ejaculating and not knowing. Some people think, oh, ejaculation is the squirting, female ejaculation, like squirting across the room, when it could just be a big gush of wetness that you get all the suddenly, all at once. And so I would, and I'm not going to assume, but I would think maybe you're ejaculating here, or you're just somebody who gets really, really super wet. All right, nothing wrong with wetness. We love pleasure wetness. And if you're not having pleasure wetness, then you may want to use some lube. All right, until next time, fill your life with pleasure.